Okay, so why do we hammer with a hammer, rake with a rake, but sweep with a broom? This question has been making everyone on TikTok go mad in the last few weeks. And Casey and I decided we need to dive in and talk about, first of all, this viral video and everyone's comments about why the English language is very confusing. English, explain yourself. Maybe we'll figure out a way to explain it in this episode, or maybe we'll just have a little laugh together. So I'm Miss Beth. This is the Play on Words podcast, and I'm so excited to have the very funny, very tall Casey from, is it Milestones and Motherhood? I always want to say Motherhood and Milestones. Yes. And when I was typing your email, I mean, I know it. I see it every day. I literally like watching your content every day. I'm like, I can never remember which word goes first.
Maybe motherhood, maybe there's a reason from the English language that motherhood should have gone first. Maybe we're going to discover that right now.
Oh my gosh, what a good segue. Okay, wait, so should we play this viral sound? Do you think that
I think we need to. For the record, Beth is the expert on this, and I'm just here for a Misheard Monday good time.
That's right. Yeah, can you tell people who you are? I did not do a good job introducing you.
I'm Casey. I'm from Milestones and Motherhood on Instagram, and you'll be listening to this on my podcast as well, which is More Than Milestones. And yeah, so I do something called Misheard Monday, probably like every third week. And people can submit like the song lyric they had wrong, the word that they were misspeaking, like all stuff like that. And it is hilarious, and it never fails to like rock me, and I learn something new. So when I saw this TikTok, I was like, oh my God, we have to do this. So,
and I have to say, okay, like, so I find sometimes I'm like, you do such a good job balancing like sharing tips about kids and also like doing fun stuff. Because I feel like on Big City Readers, sometimes I'll be like sharing something. I'm like, people don't care. They're like, give me a language tip. But you, like, I'm like, oh, is it time for Misheard Monday?
Thank you. Well, I feel like too, it's just like I need the relief. Like I need to laugh sometimes and just like come to social media and not have it feel like heavy and like all educational and all that stuff. So it's good for me too. And I genuinely enjoy like connecting with everyone like that. But
I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Okay, roll that beautiful bean footage. Do you know that? Am
I playing it? Oh,
no, I'll play it.
I have it right here. I can play it.
Okay.
So his TikTok handle is turnt Timoteo. TURNT TIMOTEO. Just to give credit where it's due. Here we go.
Then we bake cookies and cook bacon and then sweep with a broom instead of brooming.
So yeah, why is that? And we have 25,000 comments, and we're gonna pick the top ones.
I thought you were gonna say, and we're gonna read all of them.
We're gonna read every single one. Beth is gonna try to explain some of it to us.
I'm gonna try some of it, but mostly I was just like crying, laughing last night, trying to like screenshot my favorite ones, and I was like, okay, what was the dump one?
Where is it? Why is it called taking a dump? You're literally leaving it behind. From now on, I will broom my floors. Wait, but this one I think you could answer. Why is there a D in fridge but not in refrigerator?
That is a good question. So there is a reason, but I feel like it's too boring to start with this.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, we'll circle back. Why? Okay, maybe this one. Naked is pronounced naked, but baked is pronounced baked instead of baked. Why is that?
I thought we were having more fun with this. No, I'm just kidding.
No, okay.
No, I can't explain these. Okay, so basically...
Bomb comb tomb. All said different.
Oh, bomb comb tomb. Okay, I can't explain that. Well, okay. Oh my gosh, there's so many different directions I want to go. So linguistically... okay, let me give like a backstory of like how I think I started connecting with you was because you were posting about English being confusing with your first grader, right? Yes. And I am like, I love to explain this, but it's really hard to do it in like tiny moments. But essentially, there is a body of research known as the science of reading research that talks about like these major components in learning to read. And one of them is called morphology, which is kind of like the study of where a word comes from. And it sounds like confusing to do this, to talk about it with adults, but kids learning in kindergarten and first grade, like from the first time, actually can understand this really well. So refrigerator comes from the Latin origin, but see what I mean? Like, this is like you're so much more fun than me.
Wait, but does this also relate to why a block of cheese is really just a loaf of milk?
That one I don't have an answer for. Okay, like most of the reason that like words are spelled differently or like said differently is because of the origin of the word. So like my favorite example of this is actually the word healthy, because if you look at the word healthy, it's spelled Healthy. But EA, we typically know says E. So that kind of seems like it would be healthy. But the root of that word is heal. So we honor the original spelling, but we change the pronunciation.
Who decided that was a good idea?
I don't know. That's a great question.
No, that's really confusing.
You're right. I don't know who specifically decides it. Like, I know that certain words have like generally like the consensus. So actually the broom one, okay, so why do we hammer with a hammer, rake with a rake, but not broom with a broom? This is like kind of my favorite kind of weird, because English loves turning nouns into verbs, like text me or Google it or hammer it. But broom never made that jump. The original verb has always been sweep from Old English. So it kind of like stuck around. But in certain dialects, people do say to broom, but sweep is like what won the popular vote here.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to read a couple funny ones, and then I have another question.
Be funnier. I feel like such a nerd. I feel like people are gonna be like, she's so boring.
No, you're not boring. This is like the information that we need. Why do people say tuna fish but not chicken bird?
I don't know. That's weird, right?
We also blend, refrigerate. Oh, this speaks to what you were just saying. We also blend, refrigerate, mix, and toast, but we don't oven or stove. Oh, someone said stove is actually a verb that's heating something. The word cue is just a queue with 4 silent letters waiting their turn.
Okay, that comes from like we kept the original spelling of that because like if we're like queuing or if something is queued. So those letters seem like they're not doing anything, but they actually are.
Are they though? If they were there, it would be the same. If we're waiting on the waiter, doesn't that make us the waiter? Oh my God, wait. Mint, lint, tint, hint, bint. Somehow don't rhyme with pint.
That's so good. Actually, my favorite one is how come all of the letter C does 3 different jobs in Pacific?
Yeah, why? What is that? I know you know the answer.
I know, but
I want to hear it. We need to know. And why do we pronounce the G in longevity twice?
Okay, so the longevity one is interesting because it's actually, there's 2 schools of thought here. So it's actually pronounced longevity. Like, you're not supposed to say longevity. It's longevity.
Okay.
So that one, we're kind of saying it wrong.
Okay. Amelia Bedelia going nuts right now. This is the comment.
But it's like a lot of words. Actually, I remember being little and like saying hanger, and my dad was like, it's not hanger, it's hanger. And I was like, what do you mean? And it's like that NG sound is like a bit like more nasally than the G by itself. So it's
lasagna.
Like lasagna. It's longevity, not longevity. And then the second G, okay, this might rock your world. So did you know that G usually says G unless it's followed by an I, E, or Y?
Of course I didn't know that. I'm fighting for my life out here. I don't even know how I got a doctorate degree at this point. I'm like, do I even speak English? Why is it?
This is really funny because whenever I like talk about words and like teaching kids to read the right way, people are like, I have a doctorate degree and I turned out fine. And it's like, yeah, because like the whole point of like teaching people the right way is that it's like so everyone has the same fair shot. But it's like, so, you know, like some people are like, yeah, you figured it out because you had access to more resources, not you in particular, but
yeah.
But like that it's like, okay, so what if we just taught every kid, no matter if they had like parents who went to college and could pay for a tutor, or like have a single parent who works 2 jobs and only sees them for 10 minutes before they put them to bed? Like, what if we just started right from the beginning and like we're like, this is the word family, INT. And most of these words are from the Germanic root and stay consistent with short I and NT, int. But pint is really actually interesting. It came from a French Latin background and had a long I, but it shifted over the years. But we wanted to honor its original roots, so the spelling stays the same. And then you go into like an activity and like it makes it stick. So like to us, it's like feels like so much extra work, but to like kids that are 5, they're like eating this up. It's like
Yeah.
2 different histories, but it's like
You know-
two different countries, and we're wearing the same style, but like such different lives are lived, you know?
So this is like, actually, I don't know if you know this about me. Probably not. Although I think I've talked about it a little bit. My brother and I both have ADHD, and I got diagnosed in adulthood. He has been diagnosed because he had the more like boy typical presentation where like he was disruptive with his hyperactivity, whereas my hyperactivity was very similar to like females, where it's like my hyperactivity was all in my brain, but I was like an excellent student. I had all of whatever. So I didn't get diagnosed until adulthood, but I have always had like, I like stim with like movie quotes or like certain like sayings or songs. And like that's how him and I have always like communicated, right? And all I can think about as you're explaining this is that scene from Talladega Nights where please tell me you've seen that.
Remind me. This was like
So-
20 years ago?
No, Talladega Nights is Will Ferrell and
20 years ago?
was it? Oh my God, it better not be that old. I will be done if it's 20 years old. Don't
I
even
think
tell me what you find on Google.
It's 2006.
That is so friggin' depressing. Oh my God. Okay.
That is 20 years ago in 2 months.
Well, all I can think about is that scene where he's like, let me find it. Where he's French and he's like, Will Ferrell's trying to come at him with like what Americans came up with. And he's
Okay.
like, French fries. And he's like, that's from France. He's like, pizza. He's like, this is reminding me of that. Like, do we have anything that we came up with, or did we just steal everything from other countries?
That's a good question. Let's look. Many words come from America.
Prove it. I don't believe it.
This is just like avocado, chocolate, coyote, and tobacco.
Believe that.
No.
Yeah,
Avocado?
investigate this more. Yeah, avocado. They're not even from here. Why would we?
That was a Google search. Don't quote me. That was like a quick Google search because I don't really have like a list of what words are from America.
I don't believe that there's any. That is my.
I don't either. I feel like we have nothing.
We have nothing to offer anyone. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's find some more good ones.
Okay, so do you want to know why
The DIE. Yeah. Sorry.
No, the naked and baked.
Yes, I do.
Wait, can you guess? Because I feel like if you think about it, you can figure it out. Wow, am I such a teacher? That was so rude.
No. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Think about it. Take a guess. Why is naked and baked? Why are they pronounced differently?
One is a verb, and one is there. Does it have anything to do with the silent E? I love the silent E. I perseverate on the silent E. If I see an E, I'm like, are you silent or are you not? But I don't think
You are just like a first grader. Do you use it every single first grader once when they learn the magic E rule, which is for the listeners that don't know it, it's like that usually when we're learning to read, we learn CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonants, and the vowel in the middle is short, like cat. But if we or kit, let's go with KIT, kit. Then we add an E and it makes that first vowel long, which I want to say long and short vowels are very confusing for people. Even adults think that long means you just say it longer, but it's a different sound. Long means it says its name. So I, when it's short, says I. When it's long, says I. So that E at the end is silent, but it makes the first vowel say its name. So like kit becomes kite, pot becomes pote.
it becomes bite.
Bit becomes bite. Exactly. You would be thinking of that one. I mean, because of your line of work.
It's been a while since I got bit, actually. Yeah. Hair pulls are more common for me, but
Yeah. Okay, so it doesn't have anything. Well, it sort of does have to do with magic E. So baked comes from the verb bake, and then we add the ed. So that magic E in bake makes the A long, but when we add the ED, the E stays silent and the long vowel stays, so it's baked. But naked does not come from the word nake. It's a different word. So it actually comes from the Old English
Well, of
word
course it does.
meaning like workout clothes.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd we get to birthday suit then?
I don't know.
Okay, wait. I have
Look
some
this
really
up. I know.
I have some really good ones here. Slaughter and laughter. Is that the same kind of thing that one's a verb and one's
Have you seen that video on Instagram that's like um that's like what's one word that you pronounced the wrong way and it's affected you your whole life?
laughter?
He said man's laughter.
I would never recover. I would never recover.
That was I once went to Cold Stone when I was like in 8th grade and I ordered a strawberry banana rendezvous.
Instead
It
of
was
rendezvous.
that's rendezvous. Did you know that's how you spell rendezvous?
I did know that, but I might not have known that at that age. But I love that you sounded it out.
I'm like I think about it. I think about it every day.
Oh my God. That's why I love Misheard Monday so much, because there's so many things that I'm like, that's the kind of thing I would think about every night as I fell asleep, like forevermore, because I just wouldn't be able to shake it. But is there something about slaughter and laughter?
Yeah, it's about where it comes from. But it's just like about like the root of the word and like so it's like we keep the original spelling, but the pronunciation is changes. But the one that I think is interesting is why do we drink a drink but don't food a food?
Yeah, why is that?
Well, drink started as a verb originally. It meant to swallow liquid, and then later it became a noun, like a drink, something you drink. So verb came first, noun followed. I think sometimes I'm like, well, I should really like have my like notes with me at all times.
Like, this is like, okay, like who decided the word for words was going to be words?
That's what I don't know. I like who decided a word?
Yeah.
I think that all the time about like parenting that like you could like tell your kids that like this water bottle is actually called like a slushie. And
Yeah.
so that whenever they like their friends say they have a slushie, they're like, oh yeah. And like
Or
like
you could tell them that it's illegal to drive with the car lights on at night, and they'll believe you
your
for their
parents
entire
tell you
life.
that?
Of course they did. And I genuinely thought that until a Misheard Monday, and I had to fact check it with a friend of ours that's a state trooper, because I'm like, get out. My parents would never. Why would they lie about that? He was like, yeah, no, it's not illegal. He said we might use it as a reason to pull you over if something else about like the vehicle is suspect, like if they can see in and they see something weird happening, they can use that as maybe like kind of a justification. But he said that in and of itself is not legal. Just like I thought it was illegal to drive with flip-flops on until like 3 years ago.
It's not.
Sure not.
Sure not. You know, this is interesting. There are so many things that like I thought, why did our parents lie to us so
I
much?
know. Just say that you're having trouble seeing with the light on. You don't have to scare the crap out of us. Like I genuinely thought that I was going to drown if I swam.
Within 20 minutes of eating?
Yeah, no, I just would have gotten a cramp or like had a stomach ache or thrown up or something. Like what? That's where the anxiety started. Really? Like if you think about that.
Do you want to talk about starving or about starting anxiety? This is so embarrassing. Do you remember how old are you?
36.
Okay, we're the same. So I feel like in that era, there was a lot of talking about starving children in Africa.
Yes.
I don't know.
And also, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, truly, I can still vividly recall the feeling of them. Do teachers still make kids read paragraphs out loud in class in a rotation? Because like, like
not good teachers.
you'd be practicing it and you'd like have yours nailed down and then someone else would read into your paragraph and now all of a sudden you're shifting last minute, or even like stand up and tell me something about yourself. Like, are you a serial killer? Who does that to people still?
You know what's weird? I tell this to parents all the time when they're like, I talk mostly to first grade parents because I feel like that's where most of like the anxiety in school starts, like with like reading and writing. There's so much pressure and they're like, they're really good at reading, like they can do it, but they are so stressed about reading out loud. And I'm like, what's weird is that like we don't read out loud as adults. Like you don't actually have to be good at reading out loud. It's an unnecessary practice to have to be able to read out loud in front of your class. The teacher should hear you read out loud to know what you can do, like in a one-on-one setting, but it's unnecessary for a child to read out loud in front of a group. All that does is like make nerves, unless you're in like working on public speaking, thing like that. But for reading, that is unnecessary practice. There's no research behind that being helpful for kids to develop good reading skills.
Why did they do it then? I would love to hear the rationale from like an old school teacher.
Oh my gosh, if you can get an old school teacher to like calmly and confidently talk about the reason they do something without getting triggered and like mad that like other younger generations have changed, please, I'll have them on my podcast too. But like anytime I say like, here's the best research to make sure that every child learns to read successfully, they're like, well, I've been doing it differently for 30 years. How long have you? And I'm like, 20. And then they're like fighting me that it's like, there's no way. And I'm like, thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
it's literally the Facebook grandmas. You should take a couple minutes and just peruse the comments on Facebook on some of my posts. Just so angry. They're so mad. They're so mad at me. And they're like, we did this without. And I'm like, right, but we know better now. And you also, like, I can give you the whole history on why you didn't do tummy time with your kids. There is a reason for it. There's a reason why, like, well, we didn't do tummy time is not a valid argument. And that's because things are totally different now. There's the back to sleep campaign. There's like, what? Like, just because you don't know the newest stuff doesn't mean that you're still right and everybody else is wrong. Like, that's wild behavior.
Well, and that's similar to what I was like, we were just talking about that, like people being like, well, I have my PhD and I didn't learn to read like this. And it's like, that is what is that called? Like the what about?
Yeah.
Fire.
The bean soup theory.
This is what I feel with teachers that I'm like, the teachers are like, you are attacking us for not teaching the exact way you want us to teach. I'm like, this isn't about you. This is about kids. And we know that illiteracy is directly related to anxiety, depression, homelessness, incarceration. Like, this is about their lives. You are ruining their lives if you are not teaching this way. This isn't about my way. I didn't invent this way. This is just 100 years of research and evidence-based practice and science that shows us most kids benefit from learning to read this way. So if you feel offended, that is about you. This is the bean soup. Like, this is not about you. Can you think about this for a moment and be like, this is about, you know what? This is about kids. It's not about me. Or I'm triggered. Maybe it's time for me to take a year off of teaching and really evaluate if this is what I want to be doing.
Totally. But thinking about how that bleeds into every aspect of life too, like if you literally don't have the capacity to take a step back and be like, whoa, I'm like super triggered by this. Why is that? Like, did they actually say something that offended me as a person or threatened me as a person? Or is it that like I'm just so firm in my stance right now that I'm like literally unable to see someone else's point of view, like, and doubling down instead of being like, okay, let me look into it too. Like, I really don't get it.
I don't either.
As a mom, I know how important it is to stay energized and hydrated, especially when juggling work, kids, and everything in between. For me, that's where Element comes in. Most hydration drinks are packed with sugar or artificial ingredients, but Element is different. It's an electrolyte drink mix that has everything you need in the perfect portions: sodium, potassium, and magnesium without any of the junk. It helps me feel clear-headed, hydrated, and ready to tackle my day. I have packets shoved everywhere, so I never have to go without, whether it's after a workout, after chasing the kids around, or just because it's delicious. It's been such a simple way to support my energy and hydration. And the best part? Element is offering my listeners a free sample pack with any purchase, which is 2 of each of their signature flavors: raspberry salt, watermelon salt, orange salt, and citrus salt. Just check out the link in the episode notes below to get started. And if you're not sure which flavor to snag initially, trust me on these next 2 words: lemonade salt. It is a game changer. Truly, staying hydrated doesn't have to be complicated. Check out Element and see the difference it will make in your daily routine today.
Let's circle back.
Goose equals geese. Moose equals meese. Why?
Well, I was going to come back to, well, wait, there's 2 things. Since you have ADHD also, I feel like I can say this to you, but like, you know, when you have a tab open in your brain and like people think that people with ADHD like interrupt, but it's like, I have this thing that I can't move on because it's sitting there and I have to say it. So I have to go back to the starving children in Africa and anxiety in childhood, is that I thought there was also at that time that we were worried about starving children in Africa. People also were always like talking. I feel like on Arthur, there was an episode where they were like digging a hole and they're like, I'm digging a hole to China. And I thought like you could like dig a hole to China. And I thought, you know, like pipe system all of this is connected, right? So I heard there's starving children in Africa and that you could dig a hole to China. I knew that piping went underground like sewage. So I used to pour full gallons of milk down the drain.
No.
Because I thought it was going to the starving children in Africa.
Oh my God. That's really sweet, though. That's like the nicest thing I've ever heard.
This is what I say when people are like, oh, a deeply feeling kid is not a thing, or like a highly sensitive processing. Like that is my example when people are like, my child is just, it's like, that is what highly sensitive processing in a child looks like, that I like could not just hear that and like move on. Like I was like, I have to do something. I would like get up in the middle of the night, pour gallons of milk down the drain because I got caught. My mom was like, no, it's not. No, don't do that. And I was like, I just have to try.
I've got to give it my all.
But also, I like sort of had like an interesting childhood because like I have 8 adopted siblings with special needs, and my parents took in 100 foster babies. So like I think that like my eyes were like open to like, this is what we do. We just gotta take care of people.
Oh my God. Wait, so all of your siblings are adopted?
No, I'm the youngest of 4 biological, and then the 8 after me are adopted.
So there's 12 total.
Well, yeah.
Whoa. That must have been so much fun. Is it like, oh my God. I have to say, like, when you share stories about like your whole big family, like going out to dinner, doing family things, I am so like not mad jealous, but like I'm like so jealous. Like I always wanted to have like a huge family. I just like that's so cool. That's so cool.
It is really fun. How many siblings do you have?
2. I have an older brother and an older sister.
A good size. It's not small.
Yeah.
You just wanted
like, I love the idea of like tons of cousins, tons of like, like that's so special.
I have 3 cousins.
Really?
Yeah, total on both my
Wow.
parents. But our kids like will all have, like now that next generation is like there's like 10 kids
Yeah.
already. They
Wow. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, I do have the fridge. Then the other tab I had open was fridge that I said I would answer, but then I was like, people are gonna think I'm boring. You're so much more fun than me. Okay,
love it.
So the big word is refrigerator. It's a Latin word. It's kind of like I'm intellectual. Like I think it descended from refrigerare, like making it cold. But then along the lines, Americans were like, that's too long. That sounds like us, doesn't it? And so then we started just calling it a fridge. But again, I don't know who, but we changed the spelling because DGE is the sound for J. So fridge is spelled DGE. So if you spelled the word FRIGE, it would be like fridge.
Why can you do a J?
It's a good question.
Then it would be frige because the silent E would make the I say its name.
There you go. Yeah, you're right. So actually it would be frige if it was a G, because G usually followed by an I-E or Y says, so FRIGE would be frige. And yeah, and if it was like FRYG, it'd be like fry. It doesn't really sound like chill, like the part of the word we're looking for. So the D is like the phonics hero, like I'm here to save the day. We can still make it have that J sound. So we usually use DGE to spell J after a short vowel. So since it's a short vowel I, fridge, think like words like bridge or badge or fudge. So fridge is actually doing the right thing. Refrigerator is the one being weird.
Huh. Okay, that makes sense. Now, can we talk about goose, geese, moose, meese so I can close this tab? Why?
Is moose doubled meese?
No, it's moose. I think.
I didn't even know that.
I saw mooses. I saw mice.
Wait.
Why am I so
what do you say? I've never seen a moose.
Mooses? Mouse? Wait. Oh my God. If there was more than one moose, I don't know what I would say. I saw a moose.
I don't know.
I think moose that refers to one or many.
That's weird. Is it like read and read? Like I read it, I read it. It's spelled the same?
I don't know. All right. Well, I can do some research on that. House equals home, so mouse equals mome.
Well, it also like deer and sheep and fish.
Wait, there's a lot that are really confusing. Ox equals oxen, but not box equals boxen. Free.
Well, because like those words, okay, words like that or like comb and tomb is like, that's because those are like different words. They're not just like built from the spelling pattern. They're like built from different languages.
Well, what about freeze to frozen, squeeze to squozen? Oh my God. Wait, okay, hold on.
Read more.
All right, 1 second. Ooh, this is a good one. You ever notice the pronunciation of 22, 33, 44, 55, and so on? You say all the numbers.
We just say 11.
Why do we say 11 instead of like 1D1?
That I don't know.
Ooh,
Sorry.
this is so interesting. Okay, park in a driveway, drive in a parkway. Scramble.
Probably because English like ran out of plurals that day. Like maybe it's like parking tickets, like they hit their quota and they're like, that's enough plurals. Let's just call it a moose or
We're
two
done.
moose.
We're moving on. Why is a walkie-talkie called a walkie-talkie, but a vacuum isn't called a pushy-talkie? Hold on. Which orange came first? Like, is an orange because it's orange? Or like, is the color orange because an orange is orange? What makes orange?
Looking up, I just Googled who decided how to spell words or say words.
Kansas is Kansas, but Arkansas is Arkan. Why isn't it Arkansas?
That I would imagine. I don't know that one, actually.
I got a brain buster for you. You'll know the answer to this, I'm sure, though.
I don't know. I feel like I'm failing at a lot of these.
You're not. Canoes is pronounced canoes, but how do you say volcano? Volcanoes. Why?
Wait. What's the question?
You know when you read something too many times and it starts to not look like a word anymore?
Canoe and volcano.
Canoes is pronounced canoes, but how do you say volcano?
You mean like why isn't it volcanoes?
Yeah.
Well, volcano comes, I think, from an Italian word.
Of course it does.
So
sure
it
doesn't come from us.
I know, it ends in a consonant O, and that like is words like tomato, hero, potato. English, I think, is the one that usually adds the ES to make it plural. Like, so it's like volcanoes. But because English is chaotic, both, did you know this? Both spellings of volcano, OS and OES, are accepted.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Accepted, though, what does that mean? Like in the dictionary?
Yeah. Also, cancel is one of those. Like, canceled is, you can spell it with 2 L's or 1.
Really?
Canceled, not cancel.
You know, Merriam-Webster has gotten a little sassy with me over Misheard Mondays. I'm serious. The Instagram. Yeah.
She's alive?
I don't know about that, but whoever runs their social media page has like sassed off to me a little bit and made a whole post that my community sent so many times, and they swear that it was directed at us. There's no official tag, but like it was stuff we'd had recently really covered in Misheard Monday, and they created a carousel like sassing off about like, okay guys, get it together. This is why
That's how you know you've made it, that the dictionary talks about you.
Imagine that's my claim to fame when I'm gone.
Okay, so actually I just was like writing down, because sometimes, you know, like you have to like write down the word. I just wrote down canoe and volcano. Canoe is spelled vowel at the end, O-E. Volcano is not spelled O-E. That's why they're pronounced differently.
Okay.
Volcano is N-O at the end. Canoe is O-E at the end. So that's why when you make them plural, they are different.
Why? What about rough, through, and dough all being?
I love that one. Like, I love that. This is hurting my brain. So, okay, the letters O-U-G-H, I like to kind of think of them as like a friend who reinvents themselves every couple of months. In rough, it says up. In through, it says oo. And in dough, it says o. All the same spelling, 3 different vibes. This is not your child or your fault for not being able to understand it. They just all have totally different language roots. It's kind of like 3 kids that like are going to the same school and in the same class, but they all have different families. So, you know, like they all do different things they all do different things over winter break for what holidays they celebrate. So, but they're all like getting the same lesson in first grade and they all play together. But the spelling froze hundreds of years ago. It's kind of like if you like think about the like heritage, you're like, I don't actually like, or like traditions that you do. You're like, I actually don't really know where that came from, but our family like sometime along the way started doing this. In my family, one of our deep family traditions, it has to do with a piece of rubber poop.
I just know your mom was tired. I know your mom was so tired at the end of
My mom is the craziest one. My mom is so silly. My mom will be out shopping currently this day and age, 2025. And she will, without fail, she goes into a public bathroom and she comes out and she wears a toilet seat cover around her neck. And she goes, they were giving away these Dickies for free. Like that like was a style. Or she like on purpose tucks toilet paper into her pants to see if somebody's like, oh ma'am, you have toilet paper coming out of your pants.
Oh my God, I love it. I love
She's
it.
ridiculous. Okay, but the poop thing actually generated like recently, and I am not kidding when I say this is our family's longest standing tradition. And okay, so like maybe like 15 years ago, because my sister was 9 months pregnant. She was due on Christmas and she like peed in her pants laughing at this. But okay, so my dad gave my little brother Ray is autistic and he's like very proud of it. He often calls it awesome-tistic, but he's like the funniest. His sense of humor is very dry. So my dad gave Ray a the game Racco, like a card game box for Christmas. And we're like, okay, usually it's like presents from my mom and dad. Like it's not like, oh, here's from mom, here's from dad. Like, but like, it was like, oh, from dad to Ray. Okay. And he opens it and inside of it is not a game, but a piece of rubber poop. And we're all like, what? And Ray and my dad are crying out of breath, laughing, just like so hysterical. And we're like, what is this? And Ray was like, okay, fine. And I guess like 15 years before that, when Ray was like 6 or 7, he was playing hide and seek in the basement of our old house. And he was in a really good hiding spot and he didn't want to lose it. And he had to go to the bathroom. so he emptied the Racco box and pooped in the Racco box.
Oh my God.
This is like, I wonder if I'm going to get in trouble for sharing such a deep personal Gaskill family story.
Oh my God.
So I guess my dad found it like a couple weeks later and was like, what is this? And Ray was like, oh my gosh. And he told him the story. He's like, please don't tell mom.
Oh my God.
Because my mom was going to be so mad. And so he didn't. And then like, that was just like, that was it. And then 15 years later, my dad remembered it, gave Ray this thing. So they told us this story. But then we're like, what do we do with this piece of rubber? And it became this weird accidental game where you didn't want to like see the poop. So like it would like, we like put it in the fridge and be like, Mom, can you get us some orange juice? And then like the poop was like sitting on the orange. And so then like you would just like have to yell poop, like you got caught, like, oh, the poop is here. And then like you then had to hide it for someone else to find. And then like that was just that Christmas. And then like it was gone. And then like I like was remembering my boyfriend at the time, like I was like telling him this like family story and I was remembering it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a funny story. And he was like, you should give your dad that poop for Christmas. So I gave my dad a rubber poop for Christmas like 10 more years later. And then we're like poop and we like started this game. So now every year somebody gifts somebody the poop, but like you're always like, no matter the holiday now, like it's like not every holiday, but sometimes it's there. And like, so I like took this box of memories home like 5 years ago from Christmas. And like I had friends over and I was like telling them about Christmas and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like opening my memory box and I'm like, poop. And my dad put in my box of memories this little rubber poop. And so anyway, that is the story of our family.
Oh my God. I love it. I feel like that is literally the perfect spot to end this episode and that we should make a part 2 of going through all of this all over again.
These things. And you know what? I can actually pull out my notes. If you send me specific ones that you have questions on, I'll pull out some notes rather than just be like, well, this one I know the answer to off the top of my head. We will do a part 2.
Maybe we should have our community submit their own and then we can go through them that way.
You are so good at everything that you do.
Stop it. Oh my God. Okay, this was amazing. I'm so excited. We're going to do a part 2 and we're going to have everybody submit. So start thinking now, guys. If you drink a drink, but you don't food your food. Start thinking.
And if you see a word like rendivus or man's laughter, write it down. Say, I got to talk to those 2 girls that go off in tangents.
I love it. I love it. It's like we share a brain. This is perfect.
I love it. Oh my gosh, this was so fun. Such a fun start to my day.
Totally. Oh my God. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.